Hey y'all, Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates, and this is my Edmonds 98020 real estate market update for March 2022. You'll notice that last week we published the February 2022 market update, and it was the very first update that we've ever done specific for Edmonds and the 98020 zip code. Again, it's my hometown, it's the place I was born, and it's the place that I've moved back to with my family after living kind of all over King County and Snohomish County. So I want to focus specifically on Edmonds here every single month and in these updates. So we'll talk about some of the stats. We'll highlight a top sale and the lowest sale. So the highest price in Edmonds and the lowest price in Edmonds to give a little perspective. And I'll share a few thoughts about what's going on in the Edmonds real estate market coming up. As we're looking at the data though, we did have the highest median sales price ever in 98020, and that was $1.39 million. That's a 26.2% jump year over year. But again, I mentioned we only had 5 closed sales this year. Last year we had 20, which is 75% fewer. So I would say that this data is a little bit messy, and it's hard to make comparisons that are, in my opinion, relevant, but we did see quite a big jump in prices. It'll be interesting to see what this data looks like year over year in the next update. I would say that will be more significant. We had 16 pending sales, and we had 16 pending sales from February 2021 and February 2022. So I think we'll also see some more relevant data and comparison when we're looking at these numbers again next month. A couple things to point out here as we're looking at the stats. We did have about the same number of new listings. We had 15 this year versus 16, so slight decrease. We saw 14.8% above asking price on average. So of the 5 sales, they averaged 14.8% above the asking price. Last year at the same time, 5.6% above asking price. So pretty significant jump in Edmonds last month. And we also saw about the same amount of supply, 0.3 months. So there aren't a ton of houses that we're selling in Edmonds, but every single one of them is getting purchased. And in 98020 specifically, we're seeing about the same amount of homes coming on the market as normal. So we're not seeing far fewer coming on the market, at least for February, but we're also not seeing a lot more coming on the market. And when we see numbers like 0.3 months of supply, that means we don't have enough houses. And the fact that houses are selling so far over asking price is also a really big indicator that there are more buyers out there than there are houses. So I think for a homeowner in 98020, and I think for these updates, that's more my heart, is for people that own a home in Edmonds and want to follow along with the market. It seems that historically people in Edmonds tend to live in Edmonds longer and want to keep up on the market. So that's what these videos are for. And I think for a homeowner, that's great news to hear that houses are selling way above asking price and your house is appreciating and has appreciated a lot year over year and is continuing to do that. I think Edmonds is becoming more and more popular again, which is kind of fun. And as a Edmonds resident, I really like to see that. I've always liked Edmonds, and it almost seemed like one of those places that people had moved away from and now are starting to move back to, and realizing how cute it is downtown and also some of the really cool views that you can get in Edmonds. But I think if you're trying to buy a house, it's tough because it's getting more and more competitive to buy a house in Edmonds, and there aren't a lot of houses. Woodway, which is also in 98020, didn't even have any houses sell. None back in February. So I think some of these places are great to live, but also tough to buy in. So I think for buyers, you just need to be patient if you really want to buy in Edmonds, and set your heart on starting early and being patient with the process of buying a house, giving yourself a little bit more time and not rushing into a purchase, because there really aren't a lot of available options. So giving yourself, again, just a little bit more time helps decrease the stress and helps increase your success rate. If you are a homeowner in Edmonds and you've been thinking about selling, this is probably the best time you've ever seen in your life to sell, as we do have really, really low inventory and lots of competition. So if you're somebody thinking about selling, this may be the next few months, typically the spring, is going to be the best window of opportunity to get that done. Interestingly, in 98020, we had more closed condo sales than we did on the residential side. So we had 6 closed condo sales. Of those condo sales, we had a median sales price of $612,000, which is 30.2% above where home prices were last year. And we had an average of $850,976, 64.2% jump on the average. Now, I know for a fact that this number is skewed by the highest sale in 98020 last month, and this condo sold for over $2 million. So typically you're not seeing condo sales of those prices in Edmonds. A lot of times they're in that upper hundreds into the low millions. So this was an outlier which jumped the stats up. So I would say that these stats are a little skewed by that one sale. But at the same time, we saw a large jump in the values for condos in Edmonds, specifically 98020, and we did see even more of those condos sell last month than we saw on the residential side. Something else that we're adding specifically for these 98020 market updates is the highest sale and the lowest sale in Edmonds. So last month, February 2022, the highest sale in 98020 was a condo in Point Edwards. Beautiful community, beautiful views, and this unit specifically has all of the bells and whistles and things that you could want in a condo. The address for this condo, 55 Pine Street, Unit 209. The house has 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,925 square feet. It was originally listed for $1,850,000, and it sold 17.61% over asking price to a cash buyer, $2,175,800. For those of you who are extremely discouraged by the top sale or the highest sales price, it is possible to buy a condo in Edmonds for a significantly smaller price. And this condo in Edmonds takes the lowest sale in 98020 from last month, 432 3rd Avenue South, Unit B103. This condo, significantly smaller, 1 bed, 1 bath, 772 square feet, doesn't have the beautiful views in a completely different part of Edmonds. But this condo was originally listed for $445,000 and still sold over asking price, 4.72% above asking price at $466,000. And again, a cash buyer. So we saw a buyer on the high end cash, a buyer on the low end cash. I want to put this out there though. If you're not a cash buyer, there are still lots of opportunities for you. It's not every sale that you see a cash buyer, but in these 2 instances, both of the buyers were cash. Thanks so much for watching my 98020 Edmonds Real Estate Market. Again, this is the second one we've ever done, so we'll continue to play around with the formula here and see what works, what doesn't work in these videos. If you do have thoughts, drop them in the comments if there's anything you want me to touch on in these videos on a regular basis. And if you know somebody who might want to watch this video, specifically your friends in Edmonds, please help get the word out.